Okay, we're back again. This time we're going to deal with some leftovers. If you remember, a couple of nights ago I made a pork roast, and obviously we want to use this up. Many ideas you can use with the leftovers. So it doesn't matter if it's pork, chicken, beef, blah 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 blah, any roast meat. This is the technique I came up with to reheat it. What a lot of people would normally do is just put it on a plate, put some plastic wrap over it, bung it into the microwave, give it a nuke, and then it comes out. It's all sizzling, the edges will be all burnt hard as rock, and the middle will be just dry and flavourless essentially. So, you know, I used to do that. Then I tried putting it in paper and doing it in the microwave. Same, it's shit, right? So I had a long think about it, and I came up with this idea. And originally I came up with this idea because I had a charcoal chicken, you know, like a barbecue chicken that I'd bought, and I still had half of it left. And I thought, how am I going to heat this up and not ruin it? And then I came up with this technique. So that's what I'm going to show you. But what I'm going to do now, I'm sure you've been to a shopping mall and you go to the food court, and they always have a carvery. And one of my favourite things at the carvery is the pork roast roll. And then I remembered I had some hot dog buns in the freezer. So I let this out to defrost just naturally. It's been out all morning. It's lunchtime now. So that's good. So what I'm going to do is reheat some of this pork. I'm cutting it as thin as I can, well, within reason, so it heats up quicker. And it's going to go on our roll, so we don't want to have to be sitting there chewing through it, sort of thing. So nice and thin, just like that. Now the other thing you can do with this, you could chop this up, cube it, put it into a stir fry, you know, with some rice and stuff. Awesome. Last night what I did was this exact same technique. I cut off some pork, and I did what I'm going to do now. Get some alfoil. And I just use some, this is just virgin olive oil spray, any sort of oil spray. I've just found through experience, if you don't spray it, the meat, whatever it is, will stick to the alfoil, and it's a real bugger. So I'll just give it a light spray like that with the olive oil, and then I just layer it, just sort of put it on. Now I've got my oven already preheated at 175. I'm going to put this in there for about 20 minutes. So obviously with a lot of young people, they wait until they're hungry and then think, oh, I want something to eat. And then you tell them it's going to take 20 minutes. They go, ugh. Right? So try and think ahead. Try and think, I'm going to be hungry at 12:30, so at 12 o'clock I'm going to start preparing. Alright? Let's get into that habit. So now we've got our meat on there. Basically what you do is just make a little envelope like that. Done. I then put it onto a baking tray, like this is just a little biscuity sort of tray like that. You don't need a full big thing. Just like that. I put it in the oven for 20 minutes, just on the bottom shelf in the middle as usual. Set my timer. It could be, you know, it depends on how much you put in there, how long you're going to do it for. I just by default do 20 minutes and always comes out perfect. Again, doesn't matter if it's chicken or beef or whatever. Okay, so that's in now. So that's basically it. Now the other thing, if you remember, our pork roll from the shop comes with gravy. So I'm going to make some gravy, but this time I already used up the gravy last night. That's what I was going to say. I did this exact same process for the meat, but last night I had veggies. I did mashed potato, mashed pumpkin, and beans and things like that, right? So essentially you've already seen how I've done it, so I don't need to repeat that. But I used all my homemade gravy last night because, geez, it was good. So today I'm going to just use the old bought Gravox powder, you know, the powdered gravy that you just add boiling water to. Just because that's all I've got. It's going to be quicker, and this is what you can do at home as well. I mean, you can even buy, you know, little gravy packets that you just bung in the microwave and heat them up for 3 minutes or whatever. Again, I'm not a big fan of those things. It's just as easy to do this. So, let's do that. Now the standard thing for a cup of gravy, I think it's a tablespoon and a half for 1 cup of water. I'll have to check the box instructions. But I don't need that much, I don't need a cup, so I'm going to do half a cup, so I'll have to figure that out. Yeah. So it's 20 ml for a tablespoon, and it's 5 ml for a teaspoon. So we want to halve it for a half a cup, and a tablespoon and a half. So that's 30 ml. We're going to take it down to 15. So I'll use my half. I'm going to use it twice. And before you say, hang on, it should be not that much, I want it thicker. I deliberately want it thicker because it's going onto a roll. You don't want it running all over the edges, right? So that's why I'll just do 2. Right, I've moved the camera because I forgot I've got to do this in the pan. This is the gravy. So I just put the powder in there, mix it in, do a bit of a paste like this. Right, and the reason why we do that is so it doesn't get all lumpy. So it's on a low heat, it's only on 3. My oven here, this hot top goes up to 9. So 5 is sort of the middle. It's just that if you do this too fast with this type of gravy mix, it'll just go all gluey, lumpy and awful. So the slow cook is the trick here. Slow heat. So that's going to heat up. You really should stir it pretty well constantly, but I've got other things going on. My meat is due to come out in 2 minutes. That's why I put this on now, because I want it all to be hot at the same time, and we still need to cut our bun and butter it. Now I'll probably do a video later on about the equipment I use. So this is one of my saucepans. I've got a set of 3 which I'll explain later, but they are literally the duck's nuts. They're awesome. Love them. And this one in particular, this is my gravy or sauce pan. Gee, how did they get that name? Sauce pan. Interesting. So that's looking pretty good. I've got all the lumps out now. And what I'm doing is I'm waiting for it to bubble, basically, to not boil, but just, you know, start to bubble. And it'll thicken up, and that's when I know it's done. Hopefully I've timed this pretty well together with the meat. And this will stay hot. If I leave it in here, it'll stay hot for quite, you know, a good 5-6 minutes. So you don't have to panic and get it on immediately. I could have waited for the meat to come out and just keep it in the alfoil, but you know, I just want to get it done. And unlike you're seeing in these videos, I'm normally doing all these things at once. I very rarely am standing still doing one thing at a time, but for the purpose of this, I have to. Also, when I'm cooking, I generally have music on in the background. I love music, as you know, and I put on some of my favourite music and I just get lost in the whole process. I'm sort of in autopilot, so that's our meat. First thing we do is turn the oven off. Don't forget about that. There we go. I just have to close that now, but normally I'll leave the oven open to let it cool down, but I'm standing here, so yeah. Yeah, I listen to music and stuff like that, but I can't put music on at the moment because YouTube will flag me for copyright because they can hear the music in the background. So we're not using music. I'm not listening to anything. Okay, our gravy's just about done, the meat's done, so now we'll get to the roll. You can see most of these rolls bend to one side. I always like to cut on the concave side, okay, where it dips in. And that's because you put your stuff in there and it's not going to fall out everywhere. Just a preference. Slice it like that, open it up, try and squash it down a little bit flat. Now, I like to use butter. Some people don't use butter, but I do, and I use butter. I don't use margarine. I will never use margarine. Margarine's made in a factory. It's artificial, and in the factory, and I've seen this with my own eyes, it comes out a browny black colour. But to make it look like butter, they dye it yellow. So I can tell you now, anything that looks like that, I'm not putting in my body. But it's a preference. So here's our little meat pasta now, it's cooled down a little bit. Grab our tongs. I use two different types of tongs depending on what I'm doing, but with meat I always use the metal ones, it picks it up easier. And it's a preference. So we're just going to layer it sort of on top of each other. Smells unreal. And it's not all burnt and dried out and everything, it's perfect. It looks like the day I cooked it. Right? So that's that. And there you go, there's not much left, which is exactly what I wanted. That's why I did half a cup, so that was good. Make sure everything's off. Plate up. I should have seasoned this before I put gravy on, but it doesn't matter. And there it is. A pork roll made from the leftovers of our delicious pork roast. Now, in any food court anywhere in Australia, you're going to pay, you'll get that, some chips and a Coke, $10 any day, right? This cost us probably about $2 when you factor it all in. So, you know, you could then, if you wanted to, even wrap this up in plastic, let it cool down, wrap it up in plastic, put it in the fridge and take it to work the next day. And you know, if you have to, just put it in the microwave at work to heat it up. But that's awesome, so I'm going to eat. See you later.